Welcome back, everyone, for a world-class Cobra Kai Season 6 watch party. Before Cobra Kai lost all its students and Terry Silver was defeated, the stage was set for the biggest karate tournament the world has ever seen. It's the Sekai Taikai, which literally means World Tournament. It's one thing to take on the Valley, but what does it mean to take on the whole world? You're about to find out. The first and biggest question to address is, what exactly is the Sekai Taikai? How does it work? Is it just like the All Valley tournament but bigger, or does it have a different structure? What does it take to win the tournament? While there's not much, we do have a few clues to go on. And since it is literally a tournament, we can assume a big part of the season will be training for it. This will have a similar feel to Season 4, but bigger, more intense. The stakes are higher than ever. That means Daniel and Johnny can't do it themselves. They need another sensei who is truly a master of karate. Someone tough who won't go easy on the kids. Someone who knows how to fight. It's someone who knows what it takes to be a winner. Someone who can kick serious ass. Obviously, I'm talking about
Mike fucking Barnes.
It's pretty straightforward when you think about it. Mike Barnes was known as the tournament master. He won again and again. It's what brought him to Silver's attention. If anyone in this ragtag bunch knows what it'll take to win the world's biggest karate tournament, it's gonna be him. You can anticipate all the awesome training sequences as he whips the Miyagi-Dos and the Eagle Fangs into shape. Barnes was heavily implied to be back next season, and this is how it's going to be. All that's left to be seen is whose karate will be a joke. It's gonna be one of them. Maybe Dimitri. The next clue is to look at the tournament itself. Sekai Taikai translates as World Tournament, so that's not much to go on. However, the key is to look at what language it's translating from. Sekai Taikai is Japanese. That's an important detail. If the name for the tournament is in Japanese, that means it probably started in Japan. That would likewise mean it's probably headquartered and takes place in Japan. So if we're thinking this is all taking place in Japan, the first place you would think of is Okinawa. After all, Okinawa is the birthplace of karate. Remember this shot where Chosen said this is where it all started? He wasn't kidding. That is Miyagi Island right there, like in real life. You can visit it if you go to Okinawa. Now that would be very convenient plot-wise if the Sekai Taikai were actually in Okinawa. It would give everyone an excuse to go back there for Season 6. Chosen then can hook up with Kumiko. That's great, and I think we'd all like to see that happen, but I don't think it's going to be so simple. Mostly if the tournament took place in Okinawa, you would think Chosen would have already heard of it, maybe even competed. The place isn't that big, and we can assume he is one of the premier karate instructors in the area. He would already have a relationship with the organization or the board. Well, clearly he doesn't. There's no indication Chosen knows anyone on the board, and no, this bow doesn't really cut it. I tend to think the tournament could be held in Kyoto. The show seems to like Kyoto as an alternate Japanese location, so that works. Everyone can toast and shout, "Lunchtime!" Now obviously as a world tournament there will be competitors and dojos from around the planet. From the board itself we have Gunther from Germany. There was also a board member from Japan and one from South Korea. So it makes total sense for Kim Da-Eun's school from Korea to be in the competition. Whether she uses Cobra Kai's acceptance or gets her own, that remains to be seen. Expect the main opponents to be from her school. But as for the tournament itself, everything is a bit of a mystery. Will it be like previous tournaments that are straight up sparring matches to 3 points? Or will it be like the updated All Valley tournament? Will there be a skills competition? 2 brackets for boys and girls? I'm going to say yes, and I think it's an opportunity to improve upon the last All Valley tournament. The idea of a skills competition is good, but it didn't accomplish much in the episode. It was mostly a plot device so that Hawk and Tori could win the championships, while Cobra Kai still wins overall. Like, it's a decent montage, but there isn't a whole lot of suspense. It was more of a feel thing. Like, oh, that's cool, that sucks, that's a letdown. There's a lot of reasons it didn't have such a big punch. Most of this is because we didn't see them train for these, so it's not like the montage itself is a big payoff of previous scenes. Now the Sekai Taikai will face a similar problem that the show had with the skills competition. That is, watching kata and other events won't be very suspenseful or exciting. An audience may be willing to watch one person dance on screen for a little while, but won't want to watch character after character doing that. Fights are more exciting because it's an inherent battle. Kata, not so much. Now that was why it was all put together into a montage to begin with. I think they should just drop some of the lesser stuff like board breaking and instead focus on kata. Keep it narrow between a few students and let it ride. They can have a decent kata competition with the different students, but who wins or how is part of the next big question. Since we don't know anything about the tournament, it's worth asking, is this an individual competition, a group competition, or a mixture? The selection process makes clear the dojo has to be invited, not any individual student. Also, it appears that once a dojo is accepted, then all the students of that dojo are accepted. This would theoretically allow a lot of lesser trained students into the tournament, but perhaps there's a limited number of slots each dojo can fill, so only the best students are chosen. But then how are they competing? The All Valley had dojos in separate divisions, but for the most part it was still an individual tournament. Well, there's one key line to shed some light on this.
I heard last year's winner did a big car commercial in Taiwan.
So he's a little hard to make out, but to be clear, Hawk says last year's winners, implying, there's more than one. Now this could be a simple split between boys and girls. Last year had 2 champions after all, except the All Valley is an under 18 tournament for advanced students. It leaves a pretty narrow field. The Sekai Taikai apparently has no age bracket, at least not that we know of. It could be there are lower levels for younger or less trained students, but then the older bracket is the main competition. This would allow older students a way to shine and not leave out younger or less trained students. Multiple brackets would let students like Devin and Kenny compete, as well as the main guys and girls. They wouldn't have to compete against each other. That would be a good way to solve the problem of having so many characters and only 1 or 2 winners. That is, instead you just have a bunch of winners. Although if there's too many divisions and too many winners, then the whole weight of the competition could get bogged down. What are the important fights? Plus, the goal of Kim Da-Eun is to take her family's teachings and share them to the world. She wants to win every competition. If it comes down to one final fight, that would feel like it's watering down the suspense for everything that came before it. On the other hand, if it's some point system, that would be way too similar for how Season 4 went. You would agree it's Robbie's time to shine. After 2 second place finishes, he needs a solid win. On the other hand, Miguel hasn't had much going for him since his Season 1 triumph. Many are still a little bitter that he left the tournament in Season 4. Could he stick it out this time and win again? Likewise, what about the girls? Tori got the win in Season 4, but Terry Silver's insurance policy complicates the issue for her. She wants a good, clean win. Meanwhile, how long will Sam go without a win? Surely she's a favorite of the writers and won't come up short again. But then these characters aren't necessarily fighting each other. They're fighting everyone else in the World Tournament. They're fighting Kim Da-Eun's students looking to take it all. I think the tournament could be some sort of team event, maybe a hybrid of traditional matches and what was in Season 4. Like, what if it's a pseudo tag team? Each side has a long list of fighters who fight in that specific order. If the opponent scores 3 points on you, you're out. But your team's not done. Just the next fighter in the rotation joins in. If 3 points are scored on the other fighter, then that fighter is out. You go down and down the line until all of one team's fighters are out. Something like that would be a cool twist. It would let each character get in there and score some points, but also keep the suspense building for the whole competition. It would be a different style of fighting. It also means the show doesn't have to decide who wins and gets all the glory. It can be all of them. The only real question is who would be the final fighter in the matchup. Now, is it possible there's a sensei bracket in the Sekai Taikai? Well, Silver did have the sensei demonstrate for the council, so that was a consideration. However, the actual evaluation didn't include any look at the senseis. but it is possible. Keep in mind, Joe Esposito, the composer of You're the Best Around, wrote a song that is a counter to that from Johnny's perspective.
So I got friendly with the creators and I did that show. And so I wrote another song called Stand Up, but from Johnny's perspective.
Right.
And they may use it in season 6. We were talking about it this morning. I was talking with Zach and Josh. So possibly they're trying to find a spot for it because they just finished season 5.
So if they're planning on using it in season 6, the tournament sounds like the right place for it. While that's no confirmation by any stretch, it does sure seem likely Johnny may have something going on during the tournament. It looks like You're the Best Around will still be waiting for a future point in the show. What do you think of the upcoming tournament? Are you excited? Be sure to subscribe to keep up with all the videos. Have a great day. I'll see you at the next watch party.